let's talk about the nightmare that was getting Taylor Swift tickets this week. It's been a huge conversation as there are millions of hurt fans over either not getting a pre-sale code, getting a code but it not working, getting kicked out of the sale, getting to the sale but there being no more tickets left, the expensive price of the tickets that were for sale, the resale ticket costs, the dynamic pricing. It's been an absolute mess of a situation, and with Taylor being pretty silent about the situation, fans have been left even more hurt and confused. So if you guys don't know, I'm a pretty big Taylor Swift fan, like really big. She was my first concert ever. It was the Fearless tour, and I've been going to every single one since. I even recently got to see her on Jimmy Fallon, and that was pure magic. I love her, honestly. But this situation is upsetting, and even non-Swifties have been feeling for fans because this is a mess, and honestly, it's about time people want to talk about concert tickets, the pricing of them, and how hard they've become to get. So let me say that I went into this tour just scared. I was seeing a lot of TikToks of people freaking out about how it's going to be brutal trying to get tickets because it's been so long, and also because Taylor has a lot of new fans, people who really started liking her during quarantine. So people were nervous, and it was making me nervous. She ended up announcing on November 1st that she was going to go on tour, and it was the Eras tour. Pre-sale was this Tuesday. It was also supposed to be the Capital One cardholder sale, and Friday was going to be the general sale. Fans could register to try and become a verified fan, which would give you a code to access the pre-sale. And it's pretty randomized, but they said that if you had purchased tickets to the previous tour, which was supposed to be Lovers Fest, that one ended up getting canceled in 2020 due to the pandemic, but they said that they would give you priority in getting a code if you had tickets to Lovers Fest. They also claimed that they were going to boost you in line for getting a pre-sale code if you bought merchandise from Taylor's store. And she was releasing a lot of different album covers, a lot of different record colors, a lot of remixes. So people were buying that stuff in hopes that they were going to be getting a pre-sale code. And a lot of them did not get a pre-sale code. I did get a pre-sale code though, and I do think it is because I had a ticket to Lovers Fest, but I was surprised. Honestly, I was scared I wasn't going to get it, but I did end up getting one. And honestly, getting tickets for this tour were making me so extra nervous because I had a really good ticket to Lovers Fest. I really remember wanting to throw up the day that those tickets went on sale, but somehow, some way, I ended up getting face value pit tickets to the LA show. I was like, this is like my lucky day. She wasn't doing a lot of states, and so I felt really lucky, and then I got a really good seat, and then it was canceled, and I was heartbroken, and I felt like my luck had run out at that show because getting good seats 2 times in a row at a good price, I just felt like I was in for a nightmare. There was no way it was going to happen twice. And honestly, after trying to get tickets to Olivia Rodrigo and not getting the pre-sale code for that, and by the time I actually got to look at the general sale, the resale was going for thousands of dollars and they never went down. I just completely lost hope in securing any sort of cheap ticket for that show, and I ended up just kind of settling to going to a different city and seeing her there because it was cheaper. I mean, it's just ridiculous when a face value $100 ticket is going for $1,000, $2,000 plus just because the demand is high. So up until Olivia, I really was like, you know what? I'm not that bad at getting concert tickets. Like, I got this. But once Olivia's tour happened, I was like, you know what? I can never get excited about anything again. And I was just like, Taylor, you're scaring me, because there was literally a queue just to register to possibly get a pre-sale code. So I was just like, there's just no way this is gonna go well. And here's the thing about Ticketmaster and their pricing, because this is something that we really need to talk about. They have different types of pricing on there. They have something called platinum seats, which are what they call premium tickets to concerts and other events made available by artists and event organizers through Ticketmaster. These are usually much more expensive than face value tickets. And there's also this other thing called dynamic pricing that alters the price of tickets based on demand. Let's say a concert is going for $50 to $500. That could now be $100 to $900 in the thousands based on the demand. Think airline ticket. They fluctuate in price based on the time of year and the demand, and that's what dynamic pricing is. So the day of sales, the tickets could be really high because they're totally taking advantage of the fact that there's a ton of people on the website wanting to get a ticket that day. Now, Variety did confirm this past week that Taylor was opting out of the platinum tickets and announced prices beforehand. The article stated, unusually in the modern era of variably priced platinum tickets where fans get little information about set ticket prices, Swift has announced the cost of her tickets in advance. They run from $49 up to $449, with VIP packages starting at $199 up to $899 on a first come first serve basis. And when I saw this, I was like, look at her, she's not doing platinum pricing, yay. So let's talk about what happened when the sale started, because these prices went out the window right quick. I was trying to get something good because I wanted to just be as happy as I was when I scored pit tickets to Lovers Fest, and there wasn't a pit section at this concert, so I was trying to land something on the floor. And oh my goodness, I was in for a nightmare. So I'm on the West Coast and I woke up on Tuesday and I saw that the East Coast sale had started and people were in tears. It was all over Twitter. They were getting errors. They were getting kicked out of the queue. The queue was paused, people placed tickets in their cart, and then they got kicked out of the site. It was a nightmare. So 10 a.m. rolls around and I am like geared up. I'm like ready to go to battle, you guys. I have my 2 computers, I have my phone, and I keep refreshing once the clock hits 10. Even though they said that you could enter the queue 30 minutes before, yeah, that wasn't happening. I tried to refresh every couple of seconds and there was no waiting room. So it was 10 o'clock and I was like, refresh, and I was getting error. I literally made this TikTok because I was just like, I would like to see Taylor try and experience this mess herself. Ticketmaster ended up having to pause everything and they rescheduled the West Coast sale. They said, a few updates on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour on sale. There has been historically unprecedented demand with millions showing up to buy tickets for the Taylor Swift Tix presale. Hundreds of thousands of tickets have been sold. If you have already secured tickets, you're all set. If you are currently in a queue, please hang tight. Queues are moving and we are working to get fans through as quickly as possible. West Coast on sales for Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Santa Clara, and Seattle, originally scheduled for 10 a.m. PT, will now be taking place at 3 p.m. PT. Queues will be open 30 minutes prior. The Capital One on sale is being rescheduled to tomorrow at 2 p.m. local venue time. All presale codes and links sent via text will start working at that time. Thank you for your patience as we continue managing this huge demand. And when people saw this, they were like, what do you mean unprecedented demand? You should know how many people have a code and you should be prepared for that because you guys sent the codes out. So where did the issues come in? And we will be talking about it, but that's what the reaction to that was. And while all this was going on, the Grammy nominations were being announced, and Taylor was nominated several times and took to Instagram to say this. So many reasons to lose my damn mind today, but All Too Well 10 is the song I'm the most proud of out of anything I've written. The fact that it's nominated for Song of the Year at the Grammys, an award I've never won, that honors the songwriting, it's momentous and surreal. Just got off the phone with Liz Rose Music, my co-writer on All Too Well, and reminisced about how we started writing together when I was 14. She believed in me then, and we are nominated together now. It's just so cute I can't cope. I want to ramble about the magic and mystery of time and fate and reclaiming my art, but instead, I think I'll go scream for 10 minutes straight and think about how this wouldn't have happened without you. Once it was 3 p.m., I got on my phone, I got on my 2 computers, and entered the queue. For about 40 minutes, I was staring at it just saying 2,000 people were in front of me. Once I got into the sale, that's when it finally asked me to put my verified code in, which I felt like they should have asked me that before I even got into the queue. Because I feel like a lot of people were in the queue just trying to see if they would really ask for a code. And that is what was congesting the entire site because people without codes were just trying to see something, they were just trying to see what it was all about, what was on the other side. And so if they had just made people enter the code before all of this, I feel like that would have really filtered through the system, but I don't know, you guys, it was a mess. That's just what I could say. But once I got in, I saw a lot of seats were already sold out. The entire floor was basically VIP packages only, and when I got in, I was seeing the floor range from $780 to about $1,200 on Ticketmaster for the LA shows. So there were 4 different VIP packages that Taylor was offering: the It's Been a Long Time Coming package, Karma's My Boyfriend package, Ready for It package, and the I Remember It All Too Well package. package. They all include some sort of specialty merchandise and memorabilia, no meet and greet or anything like that, but a lot of people can live without all of this stuff and would have liked to just been able to buy this seat itself at a reasonable price without all that, because this VIP package and that being the only option really when I was getting in there was just upsetting. I was like, I really don't need all that. That is not worth my money. Just give me this seat. So that was extremely frustrating. The other thing that was frustrating was the dynamic pricing. It was through the roof as demand was high. People were claiming reselling was occurring literally before our eyes as well. I mean, you can see right here, nosebleeds were going for hundreds of dollars, which is crazy. And when I got in myself, I took this screenshot and you can see that this was literally like an hour and 8 minutes after the sale started, and the floor was going for $754 and lower bowl was going for $600, and these are all packages. And you guys, when I got in, this was literally all that was left. These 3 freaking tickets, and they were all packages. I was like, you're lying. This is unbelievable. It was so ridiculous. And I started getting on my computer and I was just like, you know what? I can't do this on my phone. This is just way too difficult. I'm just going to wait for my computers to like get all the way through and just go on there and look. I was on there refreshing the filters, trying to make something pop up and hoping something good would come along. And eventually I just settled on a ticket that was overpriced for sure, but I didn't want to leave with nothing just in case this ended up being like Olivia Rodrigo, where the prices only went up in LA. And so I settled on a ticket. I plan to try again for something closer on Friday in hopes for a better seat, just because I felt like it was so chaotic this day and maybe they would figure something out then, or, you know, I would have better luck that day. And it seemed like there were a lot of people who also just felt this very same way about it. Like, I'm going to try my luck on Friday. Today was a big bummer. And I will say, I feel very lucky that I could get a ticket at all. It shouldn't have gone down the way that it did, and I shouldn't have had to spend the money that I did. And it was just, it's annoying and it's upsetting. And I saw other people feeling the same way on TikTok. Someone said, am I the only one who thinks something feels totally off? Like, I got tickets, but it feels different than I expected. It wasn't a fair process. So many people got blown off and hurt. None of my friends got tickets. Millions of people devoted their whole day to getting kicked out of a queue. I'm just very confused. Someone else says, I got them, but for some reason I feel so empty. I don't know if it's buyer's remorse because I paid more than I ever imagined I would or what. So people were obviously hurting and just left kind of like, what did we just go through? That was messed up. And Taylor was silent on the subject, which made things so much worse. The next day was the Capital One sale, which also had issues of pricing and people leaving feeling disappointed and defeated because it didn't look like there were very many tickets left. With lots still holding out hope for the general sale on Friday, I think everyone was just like, fingers, toes crossed, Friday, Friday, Friday. And before Friday rolled around, the president and chief executive officer of Liberty Media and the chairman of Live Nation Entertainment ended up going on and doing an interview with CNBC where he talked about the situation as there's been mass backlash against Ticketmaster. Live Nation and Ticketmaster did a merger, in case any of you guys were confused, but he ended up blaming all the issues surrounding the presale on the popular demand for a Taylor Swift concert. I mean, he was just saying she has a lot of fans, saying that the site was only supposed to be for 1.15 million verified fans, and that's how many codes they gave out, but there ended up being 14 million people on the site, which caused it to crash.
Reality is, it's a function of the massive demand that Taylor Swift has. The site was supposed to be opened up for 1.5 million verified Taylor Swift fans. We had 14 million people hit the site, including bots, another story.
And this to me makes no sense because, like I said, Ticketmaster was the one that sent out the codes. They should have made the waiting queue only accessible to people who had the code and nobody else. But of course, in this interview, they're only blaming this on the fact that Taylor hasn't toured in a few years and she's really popular and just seems to be stressing the number of tickets that they ended up selling. Like, big whoop, we're all still like in the dumps about it.
We did sell over 2 million tickets that day. We could have filled 900 stadiums.
Or a way to avoid this where everybody's, you know, I got a 17-year-old daughter. She's pissed.
Well, I apologize to your daughter and I apologize to all our fans. We are working hard on this. And again, you know, building capacity for peak demand is something we attempt to do, but this exceeded every expectation. And the reality is Taylor Swift hasn't been on the road for 3 or 4 years, and that's caused a huge issue. I mean, since her last album.
This is absolutely not funny to a lot of people who feel hurt and scammed by the system. People just feel like this entire thing could have been avoided, and it's extremely confusing how this was not properly organized when they knew how high the demand was going to be. I mean, like I said, there was a literal waiting room just to register for Taylor's presale code. Just to register to hopefully get a presale code, there was a line. So you're telling me that you were unprepared? You didn't know that this many people were going to want to go to her concert? Come on now. I also want to say that, they knew how many people they were sending this code out to. They knew that there were also people that were going to try to get tickets the next day with Capital One and people on Friday. That's 3 different sales. So they should have tickets set aside for each sale. This is where it's just really the cherry is on top of this disaster, okay? Because yesterday, Ticketmaster announced that they were going to cancel Friday's general sale. They said, due to extraordinarily high demands on ticketing systems and insufficient remaining ticket inventory to meet that demand, tomorrow's public on sale for Taylor Swift The Eras Tour has been canceled. This sent a shockwave around on Twitter as fans were heartbroken over the news, and people couldn't understand how Taylor could be so silent throughout all of this. I mean, people have so many questions surrounding the tickets that are remaining and what will happen to them and why they didn't properly set aside a certain amount of tickets for each pre-sale and each sale and why there's insufficient tickets left. It's just so weird and upsetting. I do want to talk a little bit more about resale tickets for a second here because someone made a really good point on Twitter. They said almost every single section is for sale on StubHub. Tell me again it was all fans that got in. And this is really upsetting to see this many tickets. Nearly every single section is on sale right now, and I just feel like there's so many people that are sad that they didn't get a chance to get a ticket, and there's so many resellers. This is sad. This is upsetting. Like, how did this many people that didn't actually want to attend the concert get in? And now there's a lot of people who want to see action taken against Ticketmaster, saying their time is up. Their time taking advantage of fans is up. And there are people on TikTok like this girl who posted this saying, need Swifties for Ticketmaster lawsuit. If you have photo/video evidence of your pre-sale issues, please DM to Twitter user @BlakeRose13. Her group of lawyers is reporting Ticketmaster to the FTC for violation of antitrust laws, the Sherman Act, ADA violations, false advertising, and fraudulent inducement. They're also drafting a brief to help politicians end this monopoly. Even people who weren't even trying to get Taylor tickets are commenting on how it's long overdue that these ticketing sites get called out for taking advantage of fans the way that they have been for no reason at all other than to make money off of them. And it's time artists take the power back and make sure that their fans are being taken care of, since they are the ones who ultimately keep their careers afloat. And I'm editing this late on Thursday night, and I'm hoping that in a couple hours Taylor does say something. I hope that she is having conversations about a plan of action, but something has got to be said or it's going to get uglier from here. I mean, it's just really messed up. And I certainly want to know if you guys tried to get tickets to see her. Did any of you guys succeed? How are you guys feeling about it? And what do you guys think should be done about this? Let me know in the comments below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.